Today I'm delighted to be joined by Becky Murray, who shares her incredible story of how her husband was given just 2 hours to live. Becky talks about how she found peace to keep going during the most difficult time in her life. Becky is also a missionary and has a children's home and school in Kenya with over 150 children and works to protect them from human and sex trafficking. Becky, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about the project that you have, the King's Children's Home in Kenya.
That's right. So we run a children's home called the King's Children's Home. It's a home, a school and a church. And then in time to come, we're building a secondary school and a medical facility out there. And so I'm seeing this whole village start to rise up. But our kids, when we got their social workers report back in 2012, my husband and I just sobbed. Words like torture, rape, every single abuse you can imagine were coming up on the social workers report. And we just sobbed thinking, how on earth, where do we start with these kids? But just love is the greatest weapon we have. And just loving these kids, we've seen them begin to transform. So the home's now been open we're in our 5th year this year, and watching the children transform throughout the years, watching the older children now loving on the new younger kids coming in is certainly for me just incredible.
Now you have a project called the Dignity Project, where you work with in human trafficking, child sex trafficking as well. Tell us a little bit about that project.
I began to research and find out that because kids in our village, there's no database that they're born onto, there's often no birth certificate. And because of this, it's a trafficker's paradise. And particularly for a child that's an orphan, a person can come and take them to the city. And without a parent, there's no advocate even looking for these missing children. And so my heart is to reach the girls before the traffickers do. So we looked into it, and basically many of our girls are missing a quarter of education simply because they don't have access to sanitary products. They'll miss a week of school every month. So by the time they've finished primary school, they simply do not have the results to go on to secondary school. And it's at that time they're beginning to look for any job opportunity.
There she is, young, beautiful, full of strength. But can you see it? Can you feel it? Her pain, shame, and fear. They were created with a purpose and a destiny. They were created to be protected, and instead they are mistreated, abused, and put on display. Too many turn a blind eye to the abuse and horror these girls face, making them feel small, insignificant, and powerless. But they were made for more than this.
Speak to our viewers today, Becky, of viewers who are struggling in their own lives, maybe financially or any personal circumstance that they're going through, and they're seeking something, they maybe haven't got a relationship with Christ just yet. Tell them a little bit about the importance of having faith and having a relationship with Christ.
My faith is the only thing that's kept me going. 2 years ago, my husband was given 2 hours left to live. He contracted a rare strain of malaria, and it affected his brain, his heart, his lungs, his liver, and his kidneys all shut down. And the doctors took me in a side room and said, listen, your 27-year-old husband has about 2 hours left to live. We'll give him pain relief to see him through, but there's not much more we can do. And in that moment, just everything seemed to just fall to pieces. I'm thinking, how do I raise our precious little boy by myself? How do I carry on our work in Kenya and Sri Lanka by myself? How do we do life? And then all of a sudden, the peace that surpasses understanding came, and it guarded my heart and it guarded my mind. And without Jesus Christ, I don't know how I could have carried on. He is the hope. He is the hope for tomorrow. And I don't know what situation any of the viewers are going through today, But if they will put their faith in Jesus Christ, he is the one who will carry them through. He is the one that puts a peace in their heart and a love in their heart and carries them through.